Odell Beckham Jr., rumors of his retirement. He called BS on those rumors, tweeting out, not done yet. Thanks for HR concerns and have a blessed day. I think HR means HR, human resources concerns, and have a blessed day. He's not done yet. I want to, whether he thinks he's done or whether he is done, I don't think he offers much value. I think he's, 34, 35 years old, and I think he's completed one of the biggest underachievement careers in the National Football League. The guy came smoking out the gates, 35 touchdowns in his first 3 seasons, and then 29 touchdowns since. Odell Beckham Jr. came out the gate with people like, man, first 3 years, this looks like Jerry Rice. Compared Jerry Rice's numbers to Odell Beckham Jr. in their first 3 years. I never liked the comparison because Jerry played, particularly his first 3 years, before football became a video game and receivers put up video game stats. But also, I just never thought OBJ took the game nearly as seriously as he should have. I always felt like he was more about building a brand rather than a Hall of Fame football career. And so instead of becoming the next Jerry Rice, I think OBJ's career can most be analogized to someone like DeSean Jackson. OBJ, 59 career TDs. DeSean Jackson, 58 career TDs. He is far closer, and I would even listen to an argument that DeSean Jackson better than OBJ getting anywhere near Jerry Rice. Steve, your thoughts?
Well, first of all, Jerry Rice makes an argument for maybe being the greatest player of all time, pound for pound, position for position. I believe NFL Network about a decade ago did their top 100. It was Jerry Rice number 1, Jim Brown number 2. I know that caused controversy, but Jason and TJ, the way I would describe Odell Beckham is talented but temperamental, and he was a shooting star. His first 3 years, in terms of the sheer numbers, was unprecedented. We have to admit that. In his rookie year, I think he missed the first month with a hamstring issue. And then he made that great, iconic one-handed catch on Sunday night, which made him into a superstar almost overnight. But since that knee injury, which wiped out most of his 2017, we have to be frank about this. Still had some moments, but for the most part, in my view, he was a bigger headache than he was worth.
You point to the knee injury, I point to that boat trip. Wasn't it before the playoff game? That's when I jumped ship on Odell Beckham Jr.
Well, I think that's part of it. It's all part of the branding. It's all part of going viral. And I'm with you. I'm old school. I didn't like it when Tony Romo went on vacation with that pop star back in, 2008. A lot of people still talk about that. But Odell Beckham had a lot of talent. But also, like you kind of mentioned, football became much more pass happy. Just the rules itself, the protection of the receivers downfield, protection of the quarterbacks, the way the game was officiated, all helped. Say what you want about Jerry Rice. I believe that the bulk of his career was played in, quote, I would say, real football conditions. You could actually behead people. Concussions were a part of the game. They used to just call it spearing, but it wasn't even really a penalty as much as it is today. So Odell Beckham had a good career. But Jason, I will disagree with you on this. I believe DeSean Jackson had much more sustained success. Absolutely. I really do. And DeSean Jackson also was a deluxe punt returner. And I've always argued, I'm a little bit biased because he's an LA guy, went to Long Beach Poly. If he had not gotten traded by Chip Kelly, who thought it was a good idea to get rid of him and Shady McCoy, I believe that DeSean Jackson was on a Hall of Fame arc.
TJ, your thoughts on OBJ? I think a career disappointment. How would you frame OBJ's career?
Absolutely. I mean, look, I think he's the first of the Instagram generation to enter the NFL. And so Instagram was far more important to him than virtually anything else. I mean, look, you guys each picked your time that he lost you. He lost me with the haircuts, the purple hair once upon a time, the bleached hair. Like, it was very clear that this guy cared way more about being flamboyant than he did about being a Hall of Fame wide receiver. And then you have to pay guys accordingly. In my view, he was so overpaid. And look, the fact that we're even talking about him right now tells you this is crazy. The only reason me and Hadley were talking about this morning. Hadley actually made this point. The only reason he's relevant at all this decade is because of the first half of the Super Bowl with the LA Rams. That's it. Otherwise, you would have heard his name not once. And so to be talking about him in 2026 is pretty crazy. He's a guy that has fallen off the cliff from his crazy acrobatic catches that he started at LSU and then moved in the NFL. And he has the one catch that is one of the greatest catches of all time, the 3-finger catch falling back in the end zone. But I mean, my broader point, and I say this as a former wide receiver, that I think wide receivers are the most overvalued people in the NFL today. I think that there are 4 guys in the NFL right now that are like legit difference makers: Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, and I would say A.J. Brown. I wouldn't even put DK Metcalf in there, even though DK is making $33 million a year. You got guys on the list, though. Amon St. Brown's making $30 million a year. Brandon Ayuk is making $30 million a year. T. Higgins is making $28 million a year. Think about wide receivers, and I put OBJ here too. It is so far down the line before you can even be successful that you have to take that into account. The offensive line has to be good. The quarterback obviously has to be good in order to get you the ball. And you probably need a run game so that they can't just drop 8 every time. And then finally you can be good as a wide receiver. And there's a few of these wide receivers that overcome that. Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase are probably the only real 2 at the top of the list. Beyond that, all of these guys shouldn't be in this discussion. And OBJ is probably the most overrated of my lifetime.
Wow.
That's a
TJ.
power statement. Hold on for 1 second, Steve. I really like the kid in Detroit.
Yes.
There's a lot of intangibles. St. Brown, I think there's a lot of intangibles that go along with him. Pure talent. If he wasn't an idiot, Tyreek Hill is a difference maker. He could be like Randy Moss in terms of you just throw him out on the field, simplifies the coverages, you know, because you can only do certain things but Tyreek Hill's an idiot. Anyway, Steve, hop back in.
Yeah, I'm with you. As someone that likes the Detroit Lions, I've come to really appreciate St. Brown's steadiness, consistency, toughness, and he brings no issues, and he's really tough, okay, in that slot. Now, the other thing is, TJ, I know you must have hated this as a guy that likes fundamentals, because you're a guy that play the game for free, and you're like a coach on the field, right? But
That's right. Scrappy.
Yeah, he was influential in a sense, kind of like Steph Curry. You see a lot of average to mediocre shooters now taking a pull-up 30-point footers because of Steph. He kind of started the trend of the fancy, unneeded, one-handed catch with those tackified gloves. And look, he was very good at it. It made him famous. But he started this trend where every player now, instead of just fundamentally grabbing the ball with 2 hands like you were taught at 5 years old, in that sense, I would say he was pretty influential. You can argue if it's good or bad.
TJ?
I mean, look,
he's trying to look at a stat.
Yeah, he's obviously influential. My point is not that he wasn't influential. I think he absolutely was. My point is that he was overrated. And he wasn't a guy that ever moved the needle. I totally agree with Tyreek Hill, actually. I think when he was at his very best, particularly in Kansas City and in his first year or so in Miami, when Tua was healthy, the guy's unbelievable. But now we're talking about 3 to 5 if you seriously stretch. Because, look, if you want to put Amon St. Brown in there, that's great. That's your 5. I wouldn't put DK Metcalf in there. I get it. We'll see what happens this year in Pittsburgh, but he's not the guy. And DK Metcalf, I think, is the 4th highest paid receiver in the NFL. Somebody is paying Jalen Waddle $28.3 million a year to play wide receiver in the NFL. What are we doing? This is a crazy behavior.
The market is the market, though. I mean, every salary for every position has elevated, in all fairness. I mean, I don't disagree with your overall point, One guy that I would put in there because I think he's a true game breaker and he's a difference maker. He just needs a guy to throw him the ball consistently. I believe is Malik Neighbors. I think Malik Neighbors, within due time, he gets enough support around him, as you mentioned, TJ, that is needed. He will be in that upper echelon, in my view.
Yeah, that's speculation. You got to see it. Not that I disagree with you, but I need to see it before we can. I've seen it from Tyreek. Seen it. I feel like with the kid in Detroit, I've seen him make a real difference and impact with his toughness. There was someone on your list, though, TJ, that I think I would disagree with. Obviously, I agree with Chase. I agree with Justin Jefferson. Who are the other two guys you mentioned?
CeeDee Lamb. And
CeeDee Lamb, that's who I disagree with.
Yeah, he's the guy, and he was borderline. Hadley talked me into that. I agree. Hadley,
there's moments. There's moments when you just got to ignore Hadley. We all know that. And that was a moment.
Yeah.
That was one of the CeeDee Lamb. I mean, he's playing for the Cowboys. You got to be in important games in order to be an important receiver. Let's just remember that. Don't miss a second of Fearless. Hit that like button and subscribe to keep up with our latest content.